I'm going to show some of the amazing new voice capabilities of MiraCheck. I'm also going to show another workflow that can be used if you have both the iPhone and the iPad. So when I'm outside the cockpit, I use the iPhone. It's easy to just take around and do your pre-flight. And then inside the cockpit, I have my iPad mounted to my yoke and also paired to my aviation Bluetooth headset. And you can easily in MiraCheck split in the editor your checklist into two separate checklists, one for pre-flight and one for normal use. And I've done that, and I'm going to show that as part of this demo. So I'm going to launch the iPhone version.
Hello, I am your co-pilot Mira.
And you can see on my home screen there is my pre-flight checklist.
Checklist for Cessna 182P, November 6472 Golf, pre-flight. Pre-flight list. Initial section. Are you ready to start?
And I've configured my check bar as a large button bar on the left where I can just use my thumb to easily navigate through these items.
Check. Weather and density altitude.
Anytime you have detailed comments with the yellow note in the top right of an item, you can just press and hold. And
check. Weight and balance. Check. Performance requirements. Check. Flight plan. File.
So I would continue to go through my pre-flight, and now I'll toggle over to the iPad. And here I have ForeFlight up, and I'm going to also show the multitasking capabilities of the iPad. So if you just take your finger and on the bezel on the right, you just slide it to the left, then you're bringing out another app that you can slide over, something like a ForeFlight or a Garmin Pilot or whatever your favorite nav app is. So this is immediately bringing me MiraCheck because that's the last app that I used. There's a little bar on the top here that if you drag down, you see all the apps on the iPad that support this multitasking feature, MiraCheck being one of them. So if the app doesn't show up immediately, you just find the MiraCheck icon and launch it, and then it will remember that going forward. So I'm going to launch the checklist.
Checklist for Cessna 182P, November 6472 Golf. Pre-flight list. Interior section. Hubs attached time. Note.
So another new feature that has been added is this microphone on the check bar, and you see that it's currently not being in use. So if I toggle it on, it will toggle Mira to start listening to you, and you can easily toggle her on and off from listening to you. Check.
Garmin D2 Bravo. Fly mode.
Check.
Passengers. Breathe.
Show comments. So you see I have my safety checklist here of what you would tell a passenger, and you can easily just make sure you tell a passenger, if you have any passengers on board, the proper question. Safety is one of the checklists out there for dealing with passenger briefings. Go back. Check.
Circuit breakers. In.
Check.
Alternate static. Check closed.
Check item.
Start section. Seat track and back. Locked.
Check it.
Brakes. Pedal test.
So you see, you can say check, check item, check it. You can actually say next. All of those will check the items and move on to the next item. I'm also going to show skipping items. So sometimes there's something you may just want to skip and then return to later. Skip.
Avionics. Off.
Check.
Autopilot. Off.
Check.
Carb heat. Off.
Check item.
Cowl flaps. Open.
Check item.
Beacon. On.
Mira, go to skipped items.
Pre-flight list.
Check.
Beacon. On.
Check.
Mixture. Full rich.
So you see when you say Mira, go to skipped items, she goes and she finds the first item that you skipped. If you had a series of those, she would first cycle through those, and then she would return to where you left off. Another thing is you can navigate your lists and your sections with your voice hands-free. So let's, at the bottom here, pre-flight, in-flight, post-flight, those are your lists, the tabs down there. And then your sections, there's one-to-many sections in a pre-flight list or an in-flight list, and those are your vertical columns here. And just by the name of those, you can navigate to them. So let me show that. Mira, in-flight.
In-flight list.
Mira, speeds.
Speeds list.
Mira, quick speeds. Read item.
Speeds list. Quick speed section. Takeoff rotation. 50 kayas.
Next.
Normal climb out. 70-80 kayas.
Next.
Normal en route climb. 85-95 kayas.
Mira, pre-flight.
Pre-flight list.
So you see, you can navigate to any of those sections, and just by coming back to pre-flight, she then returns to where you left off on that list. She always returns whatever list you go to where your last items were that you left off on. So a special case is for emergencies. It goes one step further, that if you announce an emergency, no matter where you're at, she goes to it and she starts immediately reading that so that you can focus outside and fly the airplane. So let me give that example. Mira, emergency.
Emergency list.
Mira, power loss on takeoff.
Power loss on takeoff section. Abort if have runway distance. Maintain aircraft control. Safe airspeed. Best glide. Full gross. 70 knots. Fuel selector. Off. Mixture. Full lean and idle cut off. Flaps. Down. Master and mags. Off. Cabin doors. Unlatch.
Mira, pre-flight.
Pre-flight list.
And I didn't have to say a Mira emergency first. That first shows me my lists of emergencies. Then I can say the next one. I could have from anywhere just said Mira and then power loss on takeoff, for example, and she would have started reading. It also supports for these lists and sections any number of keywords you want to associate with it. So maybe there's a few different ways you may say it. So you may say emergency, you may say mayday, you may say help, and you can put those in the editor, those one-to-many keywords. So let me show that. Mira, mayday.
Emergency list.
Mira, pre-flight.
Pre-flight list.
Mira, help.
Emergency list.
Mira, pre-flight.
Pre-flight list.
So again, that works for lists and sections, so you can have one-to-many keywords that jump you right to a section as well. So you can also reset things easily. So when you're practicing, maybe you're doing touch and goes and such, sometimes you'll want to just keep repeating like the in-flight list, for example, and it makes it very easy to do stuff like that. So let me show you that. Mira, in-flight.
In-flight list.
Check.
Prop. High RPM.
Check.
Mixture. Best power.
Check item.
Carb heat. Offer as required.
Reset list.
Are you sure you want to reset the current list in flight?
Affirmative.
Resetting list in flight.
So that was resetting a list. You can also say reset section, just to reset one of the vertical sections, or you can say reset current checklist and reset the entire checklist from the beginning. So that's some of the great new capabilities of MiraCheck, and go check it out.